Hello everyone, I'm majicDave and this is Sapiens. So I've gone ahead and added VR support. It's not totally done yet, but I have spent the sort of 2 weeks to get it all up and running, and it's basically functionally complete. I can actually do everything that I could do without VR. There's still probably another couple of weeks of work to go, but yeah, it's going really well, and it's amazing. It's awesome. You guys can't see the reflections obviously in stereo the way that I can, but they are rendering separately for each eye, and it just looks really cool. You just have to take my word for it. But yeah, so I'll go quickly through sort of what I've done, how it all works, and then I'll talk a bit more about how I actually went about doing it. So the controllers are getting rendered in the world with the same shaders as all the other objects and all the other UI and stuff. And yeah, we've obviously got the laser pointer. It's doing ray tracing to see what it's colliding against. You can rotate the player with the left trackpad and teleport by just resting your finger on the trackpad and going forward. I've tested this also with the Oculus Rift, and everything's working good there too. So I've had sort of, that was one of the difficulties was sorting out trackpad versus joystick and all that stuff, but it's all working. And obviously this is a straight laser pointer. I'll probably do the whole parabolic curve thing just like everyone else does, because it just gives you more control. But yeah, let's go over here. So yeah, most of the UI I've just basically placed it in the world a certain distance away from you. I'll probably go through and make VR specific versions for a lot of things and just tidy it all up, because some of that button's a little bit hard to get and stuff, so it needs a little bit more work, but it's functional. So I spent quite a lot of time working on this menu here. There were issues, like when you put it straight in front of your face, it didn't look great. It sort of got in the way of everything. I had issues with what to do when it collides with the world. So if we maybe move a bit closer, you can see that it's now rendered partially transparently, which is working relatively well. I tried to sort of offset it, so bring it forward if something was in the way and all that kind of stuff, but it was just too finicky to get right. I don't think that was going to work. So you got to do something in this situation, and I think that this works all right. Okay, so the way that view works, let me just straighten it up for you, is that with the trackpad you can just touch the trackpad lightly and it shows up, and then you can mouse over and you can see the little position there representing my thumb on the trackpad, and then you just click to make a selection. And that works really, really well. Obviously you can't do that on the joystick, and I was a bit disappointed when I tried it on the Rift and found that it didn't map well at all to the joystick. So there's also a trigger-based mode where you can trigger and then point and select, and you can also trigger. You can also hold the trigger and then release as well. So there's sort of 3 different methods, and they all work together, and they're all pretty good. As far as the building mechanics go, I've mapped the little button above the big button, I don't know the menu button I suppose it is, to the options on the left and to the build menu on the right. That's working okay. You can remap them yourself as a player in the Steam VR settings anyway, but yeah, once the build menu's up, you've got the same PC interface. I'll probably change this. I don't know. I'll change it for PC anyway. So yeah, I'll just see how it goes and what I end up doing. But it's functional again. So if I select something to build, you just point where you want to build it, and you can rotate it as well by rotating the controller, which is something that I thought might be quite nice. I'm not sure yet how you're going to rotate in a different axis. Whether I was thinking maybe you could squeeze the controller, use the other controller to rotate or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll play with that. It's already pretty good being able to just do this. The other thing is I'm planning even on the PC version to allow you to change the positioning of things after you've placed them in this mode, so that maybe there'll be like little handles that you could sort of go up and pull up and down to move it around or whatever. So yeah, still thinking about all of that stuff. So that's sort of basically it. Obviously there's more to do. As I said, that sunflower icon up there, that's a bit odd where it's positioned, and yeah, just some of the interactions still obviously have a bit of work. But it is absolutely amazing being in this world. As a developer, to be able to come in, like that first moment where I first saw one of these people and just saw them standing next to me, it was just quite amazing, really. And I'm pretty happy actually with how the models have sort of translated into the game. I was a bit concerned that they might end up looking a bit funny, the animations could look a bit off and stuff, and it's fine. I think they're sort of cartoony enough that it doesn't matter that they're not perfect. And yeah, obviously the height is a bit interesting. They're shorter than I thought. You get more of a sense of scale in VR, so it was surprising that they're 1.5 meters tall, and obviously that's a bit shorter than average. And but it's kind of cool. Like, it's all right. Historically we were shorter, so maybe I'll leave it like that. We'll see. So as far as the process for actually getting this working, it took about maybe 2 days just to get anything to show up in the display. So just to try to submit textures to the headset and everything, get the SDK, the OpenVR SDK is what I'm using, getting that integrated and everything. Just getting it to render something took a while. So after I had it rendering something in the headset, I then needed to start submitting the scene geometry and everything to the scene and render for each eye. So I had to restructure my code to submit the buffer data at the end after I'd recorded everything, just to make it as fast as it possibly can be and reduce the latency for things like controller tracking. So that took a bit of work restructuring my code, probably another day there. And then once I had that all working, I started by just adding the sky, getting that working, and then sort of one by one added each different sort of render call, modifying the shaders to take in the different eye positions. And so after that, I probably spent the majority of the time working on things like this user interface, positioning it in the world, getting it lit correctly, which was, because this used to be in screen space and now it's actually positioned in the world. It was just, a little bit of difficulty with maths, just trying to get everything to render right. And obviously the issues with it clipping through and how to deal with that. Incidentally, I'll be using that transparency thing in the PC version as well, the non-VR version. I also had to work on the, obviously rendering these in the first place. That wasn't too tricky. But then the laser pointer, that was fairly difficult because it's ray tracing through the world. And all that work that I did to make pixel perfect collisions with objects really paid off here, because now when you're pointing at a person, you can see it hitting them correctly. You can see that they're selected, and it's all just really, really good. And I don't know, if that wasn't right, it would really be a major problem. So that's great. It also took quite a long time to just map all of the controller bindings and everything to get inputs correct, and figure out the whole differences between the trackpad and the joystick and everything. But performance wise, it's running really well. This is I'm recording this on my GTX 1060 6GB card, so it is rendering everything at 90 frames per second and recording it and rendering out the companion window, which is then capturing so that you guys can see it. And so obviously that's kind of a low-end card for VR. It's not the lowest, but and I have had to pull back the render distance a bit, and I definitely will add some options, particularly for things like the water, to just reduce the quality if you want to, just to bring performance up a little bit more in some situations. It does definitely drop if you get right into a dense forest. It can drop a bit, but I've got a 2080 that I've tested it on too, and it's just you can turn it right up, and it's just great. So performance isn't an issue really. So that's about it really. It's gone relatively well. I mean, it has been really hard this past couple of weeks, and I've actually been sick through most of it too, which hasn't helped. It's been a difficult couple of weeks, but it's really, really working well, and it's just super amazing being in here in VR, and I'll be able to just now maintain this VR version as I go along, and hopefully it won't be too much work. And I'll be able to release VR support on launch day, so I think it's well worth it. So thanks for watching. Yeah, I apologize if this video hasn't been quite up to the standard of the others. I'm trying to record this while being in VR, which is weird for me, and also I'm still sick. But yeah, it's come together. For the next 2 weeks, I'll be focusing on gameplay again. I really want to get the skill system sorted for these guys because it's a bit of a mess at the moment. I just need to have some actual gameplay. It's just, you know, it's still not fun to play, and I need to get it. Wow, that's close to the fire. Yeah, so focusing on something non-technical, I guess, and more kind of designy would be a good thing for the next 2 weeks. So again, wishlist Sapiens on Steam, please, and we will see you again in 2 weeks. Cheers.